Saturday, July 4th, 2026. Today's World News Headline Summary. 1. CNN. 1-1. Turkey blocks LGBTQ plus cruise ship from docking, citing moral values. Turkish authorities have officially blocked a prominent cruise ship, the Scarlet Lady, from docking at their ports because it caters specifically to LGBTQ plus passengers. The vessel, carrying approximately 1,100 American tourists among its passengers, was forced to alter its planned route to Egypt and Greece instead. Officials justified the ban by claiming that the passenger demographic was incompatible with the fabric of our society. Atlantis Events, the company organizing the cruise, stated they had never been denied docking privileges based on passenger identity in their history. Human rights groups argue that this decision represents a broader and expanding government-led crackdown on LGBTQ+ events within the country. Vocabulary. Dock. Verb. 정박하다. The luxury vessel was unable to dock at the port due to the ban. Cater to. Verb. 뭐뭐의 요구를 맞추다. The service specifically caters to international business travelers. Vessel. Noun. 대형 선박. The Coast Guard inspected the foreign vessel near the territorial waters. Alter. Verb. 변경하다. The pilot had to alter the flight path due to severe weather conditions. Justify. Verb. 정당화하다. The minister attempted to justify the introduction of the new tariff. Demographic. Noun. 인구 통계학적 그룹. The marketing campaign targets a highly specific age demographic. Incompatible. Adjective. 양립할 수 없는. Extreme nationalism is incompatible with global integration efforts. Fabric. Noun. 사회적 기저, 구조. Geopolitical conflicts can tear the fragile fabric of international trade. 시사용어 해설. Demographic. 데모그래픽, 인구 통계. 소비자의 나이, 성별, 소득 수준, 인종, 종교 등을 기준으로 나누는 인구 분석 방식입니다. 정책 수립이나 기업 마케팅에서 타겟 대상을 설정할 때 가장 중요하게 쓰이는 기초 데이터입니다.
1-2. Paula Reed leaves CNN for MS Now amid growing concern over Paramount's Skydance takeover. Paula Reed, CNN's chief legal affairs correspondent, is leaving the network to join competitor MS Now. Reed reportedly turned down a contract renewal due to rising uncertainty surrounding the pending $111 billion acquisition of CNN's parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery, by Paramount Skydance. Sources familiar with the situation indicated that Reed expressed deep discomfort during private conversations about the potential takeover. Her departure is viewed as a major loss for CNN, where executives made a strong push to retain her as a rising on-air anchor. This move highlights how corporate restructuring and mergers in major media conglomerates can trigger instability and talent flight. Vocabulary. pending, adjective, 계류 중인, 곧 있을. The deal is still subject to the pending approval of antitrust regulators. Acquisition, noun, 인수, 획득. The corporate acquisition was finalized after months of hostile negotiations. Departure, noun, 출발, 퇴사, 이탈. Her sudden departure surprised colleagues and shook up the department.
Retain, verb, 유지하다, 보유하다. It is crucial for high-tech industries to retain skilled engineers. Restructure, verb, 구조조정하다. The board of directors voted to restructure the company's debts. Merger, noun, 합병. The merger of the two financial firms created a massive market monopoly. Conglomerate, noun, 대기업, 복합기업. The multinational conglomerate operates businesses across multiple continents. On air, adjective/adverb, 방송 중인, 출연하는. She has decades of on-air experience covering legal issues. 시사 용어 해설. Acquisition, 인수, 합병. 흔히 M&A,
mergers and acquisitions라고 부릅니다. 한 기업이 다른 기업의 주식이나 자산을 사들여 경영권을 얻는 행위를 인수라 하고 두 개 이상의 기업이 합쳐져 하나의 새로운 회사가 되는 것을 합병이라고 부릅니다.
1-3. White House expresses anxiety over crowd sizes for President Trump's July 4th event. The White House is experiencing growing anxiety over the potential crowd size for President Donald Trump's upcoming July 4th rally on the National Mall. Trump has heavily promoted the event, describing it as the culmination of the most unforgettable birthday party any country has ever seen. However, internal panic has developed following disappointing attendance numbers at his speech on the Mall last week. Behind the scenes, the low turnout reportedly infuriated the president, who has a long history of obsessing over audience sizes. Despite severe heat warnings and potential mass casualty threats in the region, Trump plans to proceed with the historic Independence Day speech. Vocabulary. Rally. Noun. 대규모 집회. Supporters gathered at the square for a peaceful political rally. Culmination. Noun. 정점. 최고조. This contract is the culmination of 3 years of rigorous research. Disappoint. Verb. 실망시키다. The quarterly report did not disappoint investors who expected high growth. Infuriate. Verb. 극도로 화나게 하다. The sudden change in tax policy served to infuriate local businesses. Obsess. Verb. 사로잡히다. 집착하다. The young entrepreneur is known to obsess over every minor product design. Turnout. Noun. 참가자 수. 투표율. Analysts predicted a record-high voter turnout for the general election. Proceed. Verb. 진행하다. The committee decided to proceed with the planned budget cuts. Casualty. Noun. 사상자. 피해자. The defense system successfully intercepted the missile, avoiding any casualty. 내셔널 몰. 내셔널 몰. 미국 워싱턴 DC의 중심부에 위치한 대규모 국립공원구역입니다. 국회의사당부터 링컨 기념관까지 이어지며 미국의 주요 역사적 집회, 대통령 취임식, 국가적 행사가 열리는 정치적 상징성이 매우 높은 장소입니다.
2. BBC 2-1. Venezuela earthquakes. Over 2,600 dead as rescue efforts pull security guard from rubble after 9 days. The catastrophic twin earthquakes that struck northwestern Venezuela have left nearly 2,600 people dead across the country. Amidst this immense tragedy, rescue teams achieved a miraculous breakthrough in the heavily damaged La Guaira state. Firefighters from multiple nations cooperated to locate and rescue Hernan Gil, a 43-year-old security guard who had been trapped for 9 days in a collapsed underground parking lot. Rescuers clambered through a narrow crevice, stabilizing the shaky walls with wooden props and delivering water via a pipe. Meanwhile, interim government officials face intense public criticism regarding the state's severe lack of disaster preparedness and relief management. Vocabulary. Catastrophic. Adjective. 비극적인. 참사위. The oil spill had a catastrophic impact on the local marine life. Crevice. Noun. 좁은 틈새. Rescuers managed to drop a small camera into the deep crevice. Prop. Noun. Verb. 버팀목. 지탱하다. Construction workers used heavy steel props to reinforce the old ceiling. Preparedness. Noun. 준비태세. 대비.
The regional hospital checked its preparedness for a mass viral outbreak. Relief. Noun. 구호품. 안도. The United Nations sent emergency relief supplies to the conflict zone. Rubble. Noun. 잔해. 돌더미. Rescuers carefully cleared the concrete rubble using heavy machinery. Trap. Verb. 가두다. 포획하다. 2 miners were trapped underground after the sudden structural failure. Stabilize. Verb. 안정화하다. Emergency financial policies helped stabilize the plummeting housing market. 시사용어 해설. Interim government. 임시정부, 과도정부. 전쟁, 혁명, 헌정붕괴, 혹은 자연재해로 정규정부가 기능을 완전히 상실했을 때 새로운 헌법을 세우고 선거를 치르기 전까지 임시로 국가를 관리하는 임시 권력기관입니다. 2-2. Kismet Kebabs fined £500,000 over long-running donor kebab fraud scheme. Kismet Kebabs, recognized as one of the UK's largest donor kebab manufacturers, has been fined £500,000 after pleading guilty to fraud. The court revealed that the firm engaged in a deceptive scheme dating back to 2021, systematically mislabeling meat products supplied to outlets nationwide. Prosecutors proved that the manufacturer prioritized illicit profits over compliance with strict food quality laws. This high-profile food safety scandal has sparked widespread anger among fast food operators and consumers who trusted the brand. Industry analysts suggest that regulatory agencies are likely to step up inspections across the processed meat sector to restore market confidence. Vocabulary. Fine. Verb, noun. 벌금을 부과하다, 벌금. The environmental agency fined the chemical factory for dumping waste. Plead. Verb. 법정에서 답변하다, 주장하다. The corporate director chose to plead guilty to the charges of insider trading on the block. Fraud. Noun. 사기, 위조물. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for committing financial fraud. Deceptive. Adjective. 기만적인, 현혹하는. The advertisement used deceptive photos to exaggerate the size of the room. Outlet. Noun. 매장, 배출구. The franchise company plans to open its first retail outlet in Seoul. Illicit. Adjective. 불법에, 허가받지 않은. Police launched an intensive crackdown on the illicit distribution of medicines. Compliance. Noun. 법규 준수, 수능. Small businesses often struggle with costly regulatory compliance procedures. Sector. Noun. 분야, 부문. The government announced direct subsidies to support the agricultural sector. 시사용어 해설. Mislabeling. 원산지, 성분 허위 표기 사기. 제품 포장지에 들어간 실제 재료나 원산지, 용량을 실제와 다르게 허위로 적어 소비자를 속이는 행위입니다. 이는 소비자의 권리를 직접 침해할 뿐만 아니라 유통시장의 공정한 경쟁 질서를 깨뜨리는 중범죄에 해당합니다.
2-3. Nigeria seeks South Africa compensation over damaged businesses in anti-migrant protests. Nigeria is officially seeking compensation from South Africa for its citizens who fled the country following recent aggressive protests targeting undocumented migrants. Nigerian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Kimebi Imotimi Ebienfa announced that the government has commenced a detailed documentation process. Acting High Commissioner to South Africa, Alexander Ajayi, stated on local television that they are logging businesses and properties abandoned by fleeing Nigerians. Anti-migrant demonstrations in several South African cities have frequently turned violent, destroying commercial districts owned by foreigners. This compensation demand is expected to strain diplomatic and trade relations between Africa's two largest economic powerhouses. Vocabulary. Compensation. Noun. 보상, 배상금. The court ordered the manufacturing company to pay compensation to the victims. Undocumented. Adjective. 미등록에, 서류 비비에. The government introduced a program to legalize undocumented agricultural workers. Commence. Verb. 시작하다. The engineering committee will commence the safety inspections next Monday. Documentation. Noun. 기록, 서류, 문서화. Proper documentation is essential for applying for global research grants. Abandon. Verb. 버리다, 포기하다. The family had to abandon their car because the road was completely flooded. Aggressive. Adjective. 공격적인, 적극적인. The tech startup launched an aggressive marketing strategy to attract users. Demonstration. Noun. 시위, 증명. Thousands of students gathered in front of Parliament for a peaceful demonstration. Strain. Verb. Noun. 팽팽하게 만들다, 갈등. Unilateral tariffs will inevitably strain diplomatic ties between the neighbors. 시사용어 해설. High Commissioner, 고등박무관 대사. 영국 연방 커먼웰스 회원국 간에 서로 교환하여 파견하는 최상위 외교관을 일컫는 말입니다. 비영연방 국가 간에 파견하는 대사, ambassador와 동등한 지위와 역할을 지니지만 역사적 전통에 따라 명칭만 다르겠습니다. 3.1. Adelaide gets 70% of July rain in one day as windy weather set to continue. Successive winter cold fronts swept across South Australia, bringing localized flooding and damaging winds that disrupted Adelaide and its regional districts. The city of Adelaide experienced torrential downpours, receiving 70% of its total average July rainfall in a single day. South Australia's State Emergency Service responded to over 350 requests for assistance, addressing fallen trees and severe roof damage. Although the stormy conditions caused heavy infrastructure disruptions in urban zones, regional grain growers welcomed the rain as a major relief from prolonged dry spells. Human Services Minister Katrine Hildyard announced the activation of emergency accommodation and welfare support for displaced citizens. Vocabulary: successive. Adjective: 연속적인, 뒤이은. The country suffered from successive heat waves throughout the summer. Torrent. Noun: 급류, 억수. The steady drizzle suddenly transformed into an unstoppable torrent. Disrupt. Verb: 지장을 주다, 붕괴시키다. High winds managed to disrupt power lines across the entire northern district. Infrastructure. Noun: 사회기관 인프라. Expanding highway infrastructure is vital to boosting interprovincial cargo distribution. Spell. Noun: 한동안의 기간, 매력. The region experienced a short dry spell right before the monsoon started. Accommodation. Noun: 숙박시설, 거처. The municipality arranged temporary hotel accommodation for the landslide victims. Displacement. Noun: 피난, 추방. Geopolitical conflicts have caused the mass displacement of local communities. Activate. Verb: 가동하다, 작동시키다. The security team decided to activate the emergency backup generator. State Emergency Service, SES, 주 비상재난기구. 호주에서 폭풍, 대홍수, 지진과 같은 대규모 기상이변이나 중대 자연재해가 터졌을 때 민간 자원봉사자 대원들과 공공구호 요원들을 하나로 묶어 현장 수색과 재산 방어 작업을 직접 지휘하는 준정부 구호기관입니다.
3-2. Senator urges immediate assistance for vulnerable families facing forced home auctions. A prominent federal senator has urged the government to intervene and provide immediate assistance to families facing forced home auctions due to severe financial distress. The call for intervention comes as many vulnerable households struggle under the pressure of prolonged interest rate hikes. According to social advocacy groups, the housing affordability crisis is widening the economic divide across Australia. The senator argued that commercial banks must offer more flexible debt restructuring plans rather than rushing into property foreclosures. Financial experts emphasize that without government-backed assistance programs, homelessness rates among middle-income families could rise sharply in the coming months. Vocabulary: auction. Noun: 경매. The vintage collection was sold at a high price during the London art auction. Household. Noun: 가구, 세대. The Statistical Center reported a decrease in average single-family household income. Divide. Noun. Verb: 격차, 나누다. Technicians are studying plans to bridge the digital divide in rural areas. Affordability. Noun. 감당할 수 있는 비용. Increasing housing affordability is the main objective of the Urban Welfare Plan. Foreclose. Verb: 담보권을 행사하다, 압류하다. The lending firm decided to foreclose on the property after months of default. Advocacy. Noun. 옹호, 지지. The organization is known for its tireless advocacy for minority rights. Commercial. Adjective. 상업적인, 시중에. Commercial banks are raising borrowing rates ahead of the central bank's decision. Flexible. Adjective. 유연한. Employees can choose flexible working hours to balance family life. 시사용어 해설. Foreclosure. 담보권 실행, 주택 압류. 주택담보대출, 모기지를 받아 내 집을 마련한 차입자가 은행에 정해진 원리금, 이자를 연달아 갚지 못했을 때 돈을 빌려준 시중금융기관이 담보로 잡은 집을 압류하여 경매, auction으로 소유권을 강제 매각 처분해 대출금을 회수해가는 무서운 민사 절차입니다. Number 3. 3. Socceroos' World Cup dream shattered in Dallas after heartbreaking shootout loss to Egypt. Australia's national football team, the Socceroos, suffered a heartbreaking defeat to Egypt in their first ever World Cup penalty shootout in Dallas. Following a tense 1-1 draw during regular play, Australia chose to switch goalkeepers just before the shootout in a high-stakes tactical gamble.
However, the calculated strategy backfired as key Australian players missed crucial spot kicks, resulting in a 4-2 loss. Despite the intense disappointment of missing out on the knockout stages, veteran players and fans rally around their teammates. Soccer commentators note that while this loss is difficult to digest, the current squad has set a high bar for Australia's future World Cup campaigns. Vocabulary. Shatter. Verb. 산산이 부수다. 산산조각나다. The sudden drop in oil exports served to shatter the country's budgetary plans. Heartbreak. Noun. 극심한 슬픔. 상심. The fans experienced ultimate heartbreak as their team lost in the final second. Shootout. Noun. 승부차기. 총격전. The champion team was eliminated in a dramatic penalty shootout. Gamble. Noun. Verb. 모험. 무리한 시도. Investing a huge chunk of reserves in cryptocurrency is a risky gamble. Backfire. Verb. 역효과를 내다. 실패하다. Severe price controls may backfire and create an active black market. Rally. Verb. 결집하다. 지지하다. Citizens decided to rally behind the mayor during the infrastructure crisis. Digest. Verb. Noun. 이해하다. 소화하다. The complex legal changes are incredibly difficult for regular citizens to digest. Campaign. Noun. Verb. Campaign. 대외 출전 여정. The presidential candidate spent millions on their state-level television campaign. 시사용어 해설. Tactical gamble. 전술적 도박. 스포츠나 경영, 군사 전략에서 성공할 경우 막대한 전리품을 챙기지만 실패할 경우 짊어질 리스크가 상상을 초월할 만큼 큰 도박적인 승부수를 던지는 기만술이나 파격적인 전략 배치를 의미합니다.
4. The Korea Times. 4-1. Kospi sinks below 8,000 on fears over slowing AI chip demand. South Korea's benchmark stock index, the Kospi, plunged by 7.89% to close at 7,648.09, falling below the 8,000 mark for the first time in about 15 sessions. The massive sell-off was triggered by growing global anxieties that the high-flying investment cycle for artificial intelligence semiconductors might be slowing down. Heavyweights Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix tumbled by over 9% and 14% respectively, driving foreign investors to net sell 5.46 trillion won in shares. Rumors that Meta plans to use its surplus computing capacity for cloud services and that Apple is in supply talks with Chinese chip makers fueled the panic. Nonetheless, some domestic analysts argue that this drop is a temporary overreaction, akin to past technology market scares. Vocabulary. Benchmark. Noun, adjective. 기준, 지표, 벤치마크. The Dow Jones Index is a widely watched benchmark for industrial stocks. Plunge. Verb, noun. 급락하다, 추락. Global airline stock prices began to plunge after the fuel price hike. Heavyweight. Noun, adjective. 영향력 있는 인물 기업. Tech heavyweights joined forces to develop safer database security measures. Net sell. Verb, 순매도하다. Foreign hedge funds chose to net sell financial assets in emerging markets. Bourse. Noun, 주식거래소. Trading was briefly suspended on the local bourse to prevent further panic. Overreaction. Noun, 과잉 반응. The stock market crash was deemed an overreaction to the policy speech. Surplus. Noun, adjective. 잉여의 잔여물. The budget surplus allowed the local government to build a public park. Akin to. Adjective. 그와 유사한, 닮은. Negotiating a complex trade treaty is akin to playing a game of chess. 시사용어 해설. Sell side. sidecar, 매도 사이드카. 코스피나 코스닥 선물시장 가격이 전일 종가 대비 5비 이상 하락한 상태가 1분 이상 지속될 때 현물 주식시장의 급락 파급을 막고자 프로그램 매도 주문의 효력을 5분간 강제로 정지시키는 위기 제동 규정입니다.
4-2. Ukraine Foreign Minister reveals Russian proposal for North Korean POW swap, involving North Korean soldiers held in Ukrainian custody and captured Ukrainian citizens. According to Ukrainian intelligence, this proposal serves as direct evidence of Pyongyang's direct involvement in active combat zones alongside Russian forces. The foreign minister criticized Moscow's attempt to negotiate such a transaction, calling it a violation of international humanitarian law. Ukrainian officials stated they will coordinate closely with Seoul and other Western allies before finalizing any decisions regarding the swap so far. Analysts predict this revelation will intensify global pressure on both Moscow and Pyongyang for their illicit military cooperation. Vocabulary. Reveal. Verb. 폭로하다, 드러내다. Documents reveal that the company hid toxic chemical leaks for weeks. Swap. Noun, verb. 맞바꾸기, 교환하다. The two countries finalized a currency swap deal to stabilize rates. Custody. Noun, 감금, 구금, 관리. The suspect was taken into custody immediately after arriving at the airport. Intelligence. Noun, 정보, 첩보, 지능. The military intelligence unit intercepted coded messages along the border. Combat. Noun, verb. 전투, 맞서 싸우다. Troops are undergoing special training to prepare for active urban combat. Transaction. Noun, 거래, 비즈니스. Electronic transactions have completely replaced paper invoices in the region. Ally. Noun. 동맹국. The government called its Western allies to discuss joint naval maneuvers. Coordination. Noun. 협조, 조정, 조율. Perfect coordination between rescue teams saved lives during the storm. 시사용어 해설. POW. Prisoner of war. 전쟁포로. 전쟁이나 국제적 성격의 무력 충돌 과정에서 상대방 적대 진영에 체포되어 자유를 구속당한 전투원을 의미합니다. 이들은 제네바 협정에 따라 가혹행위나 고문으로부터 보호받을 권리가 법적으로 규정되어 있습니다.
4.3. Quantum leaders converge in Seoul as Netherlands, Australia, and Canada launch national pavilions at Quantum Korea 2026. Quantum science experts and business leaders from around the world have converged at Dongdaemun Design Plaza in Seoul for Quantum Korea 2026. The embassies of the Netherlands, Australia, and Canada constructed official national pavilions to strengthen research ties and expand commercial partnerships with South Korea. Under government-supported programs, high-level corporate delegations are showcasing advanced technologies in quantum hardware, control systems, and cybersecurity. Embassy officials expressed great interest in Korea's rapidly growing quantum ecosystem and significant public investment. The physical gathering highlights the growing strategic need for international collaboration in emerging high-tech security sectors. Vocabulary. Converge, verb, 모여들다, 수렴하다. Protesters from various cities began to converge on the central plaza. Pavilion, noun, 가설전시관, pavilion. The Korean pavilion at the World Expo attracted millions of visitors. Showcase, verb, noun, 전시하다, 선보이다. The luxury auto brand chose to showcase its electric SUV at the show.
Hardware. Noun. 하드웨어. 철물. 장비. Upgrading physical computer hardware is essential to run high-performance AI. Ecosystem. Noun. 생태계. The tech hub serves to foster a healthy ecosystem for young startups. Embassy. Noun. 대사관. The foreign ministry summoned the representative to the embassy today. Delegation. Noun. 대표단. A government-led business delegation arrived in India to explore contracts. Emerging. Adjective. 신흥해. 떠오르는. Biosecurity has quickly become one of the most vital emerging industries. 시사용어 해설. Quantum computing, 양자 컴퓨팅. 전통적인 컴퓨터가 정보를 0과 1, 비트로 처리하는 것과 달리 양자역학 법칙, 중첩 및 얽힘을 이용해 정보를 큐비트, 큐빅 단위로 연산하는 차세대 컴퓨터입니다. 슈퍼컴퓨터로 수만 년 걸릴 암호 해독이나 신약 화학구조 분석을 단 몇 초 만에 끝낼 수 있어 미래 국가 핵심 안보 기술로 통제받고 있습니다. 5. The Korea Herald. 5-1. G-Dragon named promotional ambassador for UNESCO World Heritage Committee session in Busan. Global pop icon G-Dragon has been officially appointed as the promotional ambassador for the 48th UNESCO World Heritage Committee session. The major international event is scheduled to take place in the southern port city of Busan in July 2026, marking the first time South Korea will host the assembly. G-Dragon plans to use his global celebrity status to spotlight South Korea's outstanding cultural and natural landmarks, including tidal flats. Around 3,000 foreign visitors and scholars are expected to attend the 11-day session to evaluate global heritage site candidacies. The Korea Heritage Service believes G-Dragon's creative involvement will significantly increase public appreciation for global conservation efforts. Vocabulary. Promotional. Adjective. 홍보용해, 판촉해. The brand launched a massive promotional campaign during the World Cup. Ambassador. Noun. 대사, 홍보대사. He was chosen as the special environmental ambassador for green energy. Landmark. Noun. 유서 깊은 주요 건물, 지형. The Eiffel Tower is a globally recognized landmark of Paris. Host. Verb. Noun. 유치하다, 개최하다, host. Korea succeeded in its bid to host the world-famous biohealth forum. Celebrity. Noun. 유명인사, star. The design agency hired a famous celebrity to model their new watch. Candidate. Noun. 후보자, 대상지. The historical site is a strong candidate for future UNESCO inscription. Appreciation. Noun. 감사, 올바른 이해, 가치 상승. Reading world history develops our appreciation for ancient regional cultures. Engagement. Noun. 참여, 약속.
Enhancing public engagement is a key challenge for local governments. 시사용어 해설. UNESCO World Heritage Inscription. 유네스코 세계유산 등재. 인류 문명사나 생태계, 학술 연구면에서 타의 추종을 불허하는 독특하고 유일무이한 보편적 가치, Outstanding Universal Value를 보존하고자 유네스코가 해당 지형을 전 세계 공동 보호자산으로 등록하는 제도입니다. 5-2. Jeju police officer investigated after attempting to board flight carrying live ammunition. Jeju Island police are officially investigating an active-duty police officer who attempted to board a commercial flight while carrying live ammunition. According to airport security, several rounds of live ammunition were detected inside the officer's personal carry-on bag during routine X-ray screening. The suspect claimed that the ammunition was packed accidentally while moving personal belongings and that there was absolutely no malicious intent. Airport security authorities have handed the case over to local detectives for a thorough investigation into the source of the ammunition. Legal experts note that unauthorized possession and transportation of ammunition carry severe administrative and criminal penalties under South Korea's strict arms control laws. Vocabulary. Active duty. Adjective. 현역의, 복무 중인. The active duty soldier was rewarded for saving a citizen from a fire. Ammunition. Noun. 탄약, 실탄. Soldiers are prohibited from carrying live ammunition outside the base. Round. Noun. 총알, 판, 단계, 회전. The unit fired several rounds of warning shots at the suspicious vessel. Screening. Noun. 심사, 검색. Airport security screening has been enhanced during the high alert period. Malicious. Adjective. 악의적인. The firewall successfully blocked a malicious hacking attempt on the server. Detective. Noun. 행사, 탐정. The homicide detective carefully analyzed the evidence left at the scene. Thorough. Adjective. 철저한, 빈틈없는. Regulators conducted a thorough audit of the construction firm's books. Unauthorized. Adjective. 승인되지 않은, 무단. Unauthorized personnel are strictly banned from entering the server room. 시사용어 해설.
carry-on bag, 기내 휴대 수화물. 공항에서 탁송 화물로 비행기 화물칸에 싣지 않고 승객이 비행기 기내 안까지 직접 들고 들어가는 개인 배낭이나 소형 캐리어 백을 지칭합니다. 보안 규정상 날카로운 칼, 발화성 화약류, 실탄, 다량의 액체 등은 기내 반출이 금지됩니다.
5-3. Seoul expands specially equipped shuttle van service to support disabled commuters. The Seoul Metropolitan Government has announced a significant expansion of its specialized shuttle van service designed for people with disabilities. Managed by the Seoul Facilities Corporation, the initiative aims to reduce the chronically long waiting times experienced by wheelchair users during peak commuting hours. The city plans to integrate dozens of newly configured wheelchair-accessible minivans into the existing public transit system. Welfare officials highlighted that ensuring reliable transit options is essential for fostering equal economic opportunities and improving the quality of life for vulnerable groups. Public feedback from disability advocacy groups has been highly positive, though many urge the city to expand the service areas to regional suburbs. Vocabulary. Expansion. Noun. 확장, 증편. The telecom giant is planning a major expansion of its 5G network coverage capacity. Disability. Noun. 장애. The foundation raised funds to support children living with physical disabilities. Initiative. Noun. 계획. 주도적인 기획. The Environmental Protection Initiative was approved by a unanimous vote. Peak. Noun. / adjective. 정점. 절정. 피크에. Electricity demand reaches its peak during the midsummer heat wave. Commute. Verb. / noun. 통근하다, 통학. Many office workers commute from the satellite cities to downtown Seoul. Transit. Noun / verb. 통과, 수송, 환승. The shipping company uses the Suez Canal for transit between Europe and Asia. Vulnerability. Noun. 취약성. Security researchers discovered a critical software vulnerability in the system. Suburb. Noun. 교외, 시외. Living in the quiet suburb is preferred by families with young kids. 기사 용어 해설. Public transit accessibility. 대중교통 교통약자 접근성. 고령자, 임산부, 장애인 등 신체적 한계를 지닌 교통약자가 계단이나 높은 단차 없이 일반인과 동등하게 저상버스, 엘리베이터, 승강장 리프트 등을 이용해 휠체어를 타고 물리적 제약 없이 편리하게 대중교통망을 누릴 수 있도록 설계하는 도시복지 개념입니다.
6. CGTN 61. China honors 5 most beautiful sci-tech workers, driving national technological self-reliance. China has officially honored 5 outstanding scientific and technological workers whose breakthrough achievements reflect the country's intense push for technological self-reliance. These scientists represent crucial fields such as space exploration, ecological restoration, medicine, and high-altitude plateau agriculture. Among the honorees is Gui Haichao, a payload specialist who spent 154 days aboard the China space station, conducting dozens of experiments. Another honoree, Kong Hainan, dedicated more than 20 years to restoring the heavily polluted Erhai Lake in Yuan to pristine water quality standards. The Chinese government emphasized that scientific innovation and public science education are like the 2 wings of a bird. Vocabulary. Self-reliance. Noun. Jarip, Donglipsong. The policy focuses on building military self-reliance through local research. Ecological. Adjective. 생태학적인. Deforestation has triggered severe ecological instability in the rainforest. Plateau. Noun. 고원, 평탄한 단계. The research team studied wild flora located across the Tibet Plateau. Payload. Noun. 우주선 등의 유효 탑재량. The rocket successfully launched, carrying a heavy communication satellite payload. Restore. Verb. 복구하다, 회복시키다. Developers worked tirelessly to restore the crashed banking app. Pristine. Adjective. 깨끗한, 완전 무결한. The remote national park is famous for its pristine natural landscape. Innovation. Noun. 혁신. Constant innovation is key to surviving in the competitive semiconductor market. Wing. Noun. 날개, 세력단체. The left wing of the building was constructed using eco-friendly materials. 시사용어 해설. Technological self-reliance.
기술 자립화, 서방의 반도체 제재, 원자재 무기화 사태 등 급변하는 무역전쟁 구도에서 독자 노선을 걷기 위해 인쇄 회로기판 가공 장비나 로봇, 핵심 백신 원료 등을 수입에 기대지 않고 자국의 엔지니어링 인재 및 설비만으로 가공, 수정, 제조하는 기술적 패권을 뜻합니다.
6-2. Xi Jinping promotes 2 high-ranking military officers to the rank of general. Xi Jinping, chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC, attended a high-profile military ceremony to promote 2 high-ranking military officers to the rank of general. The rank of general is the highest active military rank in the People's Liberation Army of China. During the ceremony held in Beijing, Xi presented the promotion certificates and offered congratulations to the newly promoted commanders. The military restructuring is viewed by defense analysts as a strategic move to strengthen leadership over modernized information warfare and coastal operational sectors. Political observers suggest that these strategic promotions underscore Xi's continuing consolidation of power over the armed forces amid regional security tensions. Vocabulary. Rank. Noun, verb. 계급, 평가하다. High rank in the corporate world requires exceptional leadership and vision. General. Noun, adjective. 장군, 일반적인. The retired general wrote a best-selling memoir about the Desert Campaign. Ceremony. Noun. 의식, 식장. The award ceremony was broadcast live across hundreds of sports channels. Certificate. Noun. 증명서, 수료증. The technician received a professional certificate after finishing training. Modernize. Verb. 현대화하다. The state utility plans to modernize the entire electrical grid system. Observer. Noun. 관찰자, 정보 모니터. Diplomatic observers monitored the voting centers to ensure fair elections. Consolidation. Noun. 통합, 강화. The bank merger led to a major consolidation of branches across the state. Promotion. Noun. 진급, 장려, 홍보. Excellent product quality and positive reviews led to his quick promotion. 시사 용어 해설. Central Military Commission, 중앙군사위원회. 중국에서 인민해방군을 비롯한 모든 국방안보, 무장조직의 실질적인 작전 배치권과 행정 인사권을 독점하는 최상위 의사결정 최고기구입니다. 국가주석이자 당 총서기인 시진핑 주석이 본위원회의 위원장직을 도맡아 무소불위의 군 통제권을 직접 행사합니다. 6-3. Chinese manned space program accelerates to meet scientific milestones. China's manned space program has successfully entered a highly accelerated operational phase, transitioning from launch frequencies of once every few years to a consistent schedule of 2 missions annually. Astronaut Guai Haichao, China's first civilian payload specialist, shared this developmental milestone during a press conference in Beijing. Guai, who completed 68 complex microgravity experiments during his 154 days in orbit, currently leads specialized research on advanced space robotics and orbital debris removal. Space policy analysts indicate that this increased mission frequency allows China to steadily verify crucial technologies needed for human lunar exploration. The ultimate objective is to transform the Tiangong space station into a premier global scientific laboratory. Vocabulary. Acceleration. Noun. 가속, 속도화. The deployment of automation tools led to the acceleration of construction. Frequency. Noun. 빈도, 주파수. Modern transit planners want to increase the frequency of regional trains. Civilian. Noun. Adjective. 민간인, 비군사적인. The humanitarian agency evacuated hundreds of innocent civilian families. Microgravity. Noun. 미세중력. The biological team studied how cell cultures develop inside microgravity. Orbit. Noun. Verb. 궤도, 주위를 돌다. The weather satellite entered its geostationary orbit around the Earth. Debris. Noun. 잔해, 쓰레기. Marine biological researchers are monitoring plastic debris inside the Pacific. Verify. Verb. 검증하다, 확인하다. Regulators demanded proof of system security to verify compliance laws. Premier. Adjective. Noun. 으뜸해, 최고위에. The capital city became the country's premier financial and cultural center. 시사용어 해설. Payload specialist.
탑재체 전문가. 전통적인 군인 출신의 조종사 비행사들과 달리 천문학이나 미생물학, 나노소재 공학 학위를 소지한 전문 과학자 출신 우주비행사입니다. 우주선 내부 탑재된 특수 정밀 과학 장비 가동과 실제 물질 합성 등 순수 실험 영역을 직접 전담하는 임무를 띱니다.
Number 7. NHK World Japan. Number 7. 1. Japan's Tankan survey reveals strong manufacturer sentiment growth for fifth consecutive quarter. Business sentiment among major Japanese manufacturers has improved for the fifth consecutive quarter, according to the Bank of Japan's latest Tankan survey. The sentiment index for large manufacturing firms rose to positive 22 points, showing a 5-point increase from the prior quarter's report. This steady economic confidence was primarily driven by machinery and semiconductor-related equipment sectors, which have experienced high demand linked to global artificial intelligence investments. Conversely, the petroleum and coal refining sectors reported weaker sentiment due to prolonged geopolitical instability in the Middle East. Despite the strong current reading, forward-looking measures indicate that corporate leaders remain cautious about energy costs and inflation over the next quarter. Vocabulary. Sentiment. Noun. 경기 체감 심리, 감정. Market analysts noted a positive shift in retail consumer sentiment this month. Consecutive. Adjective. 연속적인. The exporter enjoyed record-breaking profits for the fourth consecutive year. Optimistic. Adjective. 낙관적인. The board remains highly optimistic about the proposed cross-border merger. Machinery. Noun. 기계 장비류. The heavy machinery factory was constructed near the deep-water port. Petroleum. Noun. 석유. Rising petroleum prices could trigger inflation across developing countries. Refine. Verb. 정제하다, 개선하다. Engineers are working to refine the fuel efficiency of the hybrid engine. Geopolitical. Adjective. 지형학적, 국제안보적인. The channel is heavily protected because of its strategic geopolitical significance. Cautious. Adjective. 신중한, 경계하는. Venture capitalists are cautious about investing in volatile tech startups. 시사용어 해설. 탄칸 서베이, 일본은행 단관지수. 일본의 중앙은행인 일본은행이 연 4회 실시하여 공표하는 단기경제 관측조사의 준말입니다. 약 9,000개 이상의 정의의 일본 기업들을 선발해 경기를 낙관, 긍정하는지, 비관, 부정하는지 직접 수치로 환산하여 발표하므로 일본의 통화정책 금리 전환 예측에 필수적인 척도입니다.
7.2. Philippines and Canada bolster bilateral security and defense cooperation. The Philippines and Canada have agreed to significantly bolster their bilateral security and defense cooperation during a high-level assembly. This new military agreement provides a structured framework for both nations to share intelligence and coordinate maritime security operations. Government representatives indicated that joint defense maneuvers will focus heavily on combating transnational smuggling and regional fraud networks. Foreign policy experts suggest that Ottawa is aggressively expanding its military presence in the Indo-Pacific region to act as a counterweight against regional security threats. Officials stated that this partnership is a crucial milestone for maintaining stability and free navigation along vital oceanic trade routes. Vocabulary. Bolster, verb. 강화하다, 북돋우다. The injection of government funding helped bolster the local housing market. Bilateral, adjective. 양자 간의, 상호의. The bilateral treaty eliminated import duties on electrical vehicles. Framework, noun. 체계, 기본뼈대. This protocol serves as a useful framework for handling environmental cleanup. Maneuver, noun. Verb. 군사연습, 전술기동. Navies from 3 countries started joint military maneuvers in the Pacific. Transnational, adjective. 초국가적인. Cybercrime has quickly transformed into a major transnational threat. Counterweight, noun. 균형추, 대항 세력. The creation of the coalition acted as a political counterweight against the majority. Navigation, noun. 항해, 길 안내. Bad winter weather made maritime navigation extremely perilous for tiny vessels. Intelligence, noun. 정보, 첩보. National security depends heavily on gathering reliable intelligence on rivals. 시사용어 해설. Freedom of navigation, 항행의 자유. 모든 국가의 선박, 민간 및 군사 선박은 다른 국가의 영해 침범이나 위협 행위가 없는 한 공해, 국제 공유 수역과 타국의 배타적 경제 수역을 침범,
방해받지 않고 평화적으로 자유롭게 통과할 권리가 있다는 해양법상 기본 국제 원칙입니다.
7.3. Japan's new industrial strategy plans $6 billion AI investment to deploy 10 million robots by 2040. The Japanese government has unveiled an ambitious industrial strategy to invest $6 billion in advanced artificial intelligence, with the goal of deploying 10 million AI-powered robots by 2040. This massive technological project is designed as a direct countermeasure against Japan's severe labor shortages and aging population. Under the strategic plan, these AI-integrated robots will be integrated into crucial sectors, including manufacturing, nursing care, and retail distribution. Tokyo aims to establish a highly automated, self-sustaining economic ecosystem to ensure long-term productivity. Tech consultants predict that this major financial injection will make Japan a leading pioneer in commercial robotics. Vocabulary. Deploy. Verb. 배치하다, 군대를 전개하다. The delivery firm decided to deploy electric vans to lower fuel costs. Countermeasure. Noun. 대책, 대응 조치. The government introduced tax incentives as a countermeasure against inflation. Age. Verb, noun. 나이 들다, 나이, 세대. Demographers warned that the population is beginning to age at an alarming rate. Manufacturing. Noun, adjective. 제조업, 제조하는. Robotics has dramatically enhanced the precision of electronic manufacturing. Self-sustaining. Adjective. 자급자족의, 자립적인. The space habitat was designed to be a fully self-sustaining scientific unit. Productivity. Noun. 생산성. Adopting automation software improved the administrative productivity of the bank. Injection. Noun. 투입. 주사. A massive financial injection saved the regional airline from bankruptcy. Robotic. Adjective. 로봇의. 자동화된. The hospital started using a robotic surgery arm for delicate procedures. 시사 용어 해설. AI-powered robot. AI 자율 탑재 로봇. 기계 내부에 인간의 추가 지시 명령 없이도 스스로 주변 지형 상황을 레이저나 광학 렌즈로 학습하여 실시간 최적의 수거 경로 및 조립 행동을 조율하는 차세대 고성능 기계 자산입니다.
$8 poor. AlJazeera.com. 8-1. Portugal clinches spot in round of 16 after 2-1 World Cup comeback over Croatia. Portugal secured a dramatic 2-1 comeback victory over Croatia in their high-stakes last 32 meeting at the FIFA World Cup 2026. Played at Toronto Stadium, the match saw Portugal bounce back after conceding a surprising opening goal in the 53rd minute. Veteran striker Cristiano Ronaldo scored the decisive penalty, marking his first-ever career goal in the knockout stages of the World Cup. With this hard-fought victory, Portugal officially clinched their spot in the highly anticipated round of 16. The upcoming stage sets up an intense, highly anticipated Iberian derby against their neighboring rivals, Spain. Vocabulary. Clinch. Verb. 성사시키다, 확보하다. The sales representative managed to clinch a lucrative contract with the client. Comeback. Noun. Adjective. 역전, 재기. The team achieved a miraculous comeback win during the final quarter of the match. Decisive. Adjective. 결정적인, 확고한. The commander played a decisive role in defending the strategic border town. Concede. Verb. 실점하다, 인정하다. The defense made a serious tactical error, forcing them to concede a late goal. Knockout. Noun. Adjective. 패자 부활 없는 토너먼트. Several famous teams were eliminated during the initial knockout stages. Veteran. Noun/adjective. 노련한 베테랑, 퇴역군인. The veteran diplomat was sent to resolve the highly complex border dispute. Upcoming. Adjective. 다가오는, 곧 있을. High turnout is expected during the upcoming regional municipal elections. Neighbor. Noun/verb. 이웃, 인접하다. The country maintains strong bilateral links with its peaceful neighbor. 시사영어 해설. Iberian Derby, 이베리아 반도 라이벌전. 유럽 대륙 서남단에 이웃한 스페인과 포르투갈 양국 간의 축구 국가대항전을 의미합니다. 역사적으로 영토와 자존심이 복잡하게 얽혀 있어 양국이 격돌할 때마다 온 유럽 축구판이 뒤흔들리는 최고의 자존심 싸움터입니다.
8-2. Iran prepares days-long state funeral for late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iran has prepared for a massive, days-long state funeral for the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who died at the age of 86. Banners have been erected across Tehran, urging the public to rise up and support the Islamic Republic during this sensitive transition. Authorities expect millions of mourners to flood the streets of Tehran and Mashhad, reminiscent of the burial of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini in 1989. Over 100 foreign delegations have begun arriving in Iran under a tense, unannounced ceasefire. Meanwhile, military commanders warn rivals that any hostile actions during the mourning period will trigger harsh retaliation from Iran's armed forces. Vocabulary. Funeral. Noun. 장례식. The state funeral of the late prime minister was attended by global royalty. Banner. Noun. 현수막. 플래카드. Large commercial banners were hung from the exterior of the department store. Transition. Noun. 이행기, 과도기, 변하다. The company is undergoing a difficult transition toward automation. Mourner. Noun. 조문객, 애도자. Thousands of tearful mourners lined the route to show their respect. Reminiscent. Adjective. 연상시키는, 회상하는. The classic style of the opera house is reminiscent of the Renaissance. Ceasefire. Noun. 휴전, 정전. The United Nations succeeded in negotiating a temporary humanitarian ceasefire. Hostile. Adjective. 적대적인. The board dismissed the hostile takeover bid from its competitor. Retaliation. Noun. 보복, 응징. Regulatory fines were introduced as retaliation against foreign tariffs. 시사 유머 해설.
수프림 리더, 신정국가 최고 지도자. 이란 같은 신정국가, 성직자가 지배하는 종교국가에서 임기 제한 없이 입법, 사법, 행정은 물론 국가 군 통수권까지 거머쥐는 신과 같은 절대 권력을 행사하는 종교계 수장 직위입니다. 8-3. Interpol identifies Ukrainian woman as main suspect in Monaco bombing targeting tycoon. Interpol has officially identified a Ukrainian woman as the prime suspect in a targeted bombing attack that injured 3 people in Monaco. Monaco's police commissioner Eric Arella held a press conference to release an Interpol red notice against Anastasia Berezovska. Investigators believe the sophisticated explosive targeted a prominent Ukrainian-born tycoon known for holding close ties with Russian industries. The targeted tycoon and 2 other bypassers suffered severe injuries during the daytime explosion in the wealthy city-state. European intelligence agencies suspect that this high-profile attack represents a spillover of the ongoing military conflict in Eastern Europe into neutral zones. Vocabulary. Suspect. Noun, verb. 용의자, 의심하다. Police detained the prime suspect right before he boarded a train to Paris. Notice. Noun, verb. 숲에서, 안내문, 알아채다. The regulatory body published a strict notice warning against financial speculation. Tycoon. Noun. 거물 기업가, 재벌. The oil tycoon purchased a vast estate inside the southern resort. Spillover. Noun. 파급 효과, 넘침.
High inflation in the energy market created a negative spillover into transport. Neutral. Adjective. 중립적인. The European nation chose to maintain a neutral status during the regional war. Explosive. Noun / adjective. 폭발물, 폭발적인. Security units discovered an explosive device placed inside the briefcase. Prominent. Adjective. 저명한, 유력한. Several prominent economic scholars were invited to advise the prime minister. Investigation. Noun
수사, 조사. The parliamentary committee decided to launch a direct investigation into the leak. Interpol Red Notice, 인터폴 적색 수배. 국제형사경찰기구 인터폴이 살인, 강도, 테러 등 중범죄를 저지르고 해외로 도주해 숨은 피해자의 신병을 확보하기 위해 전 세계 190여 개 회원국 경찰에 체포 및 현지 인도를 정식 청구하는 가장 강도 높은 최고 단계의 수배령입니다.
9. CBC Canada. 9-1. CUSMA review deadline passes with no immediate threat of tariff resurgence. The critical July 1 deadline for Canada, the United States, and Mexico to declare their mutual intent to extend the CUSMA trade pact has officially passed. While Ottawa and Mexico City favored a seamless renewal to shield exports from trade volatility, the Trump administration officially expressed its reluctance to extend the deal as is. Under the legal terms of CUSMA, this lack of unanimous consensus triggers an annual review process rather than an immediate expiration of the agreement. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Canadian trade negotiators emphasized that the current framework shielding nearly 90% of exports remains fully active. Experts reassure the public that this milestone is a checkpoint, not a cliff, allowing up to 10 years to resolve disagreements. Vocabulary. Pact. Noun, verb. 조약, 협정. 포장하다. The shipping firm began to pack delicate chip machinery into safe cases. Shield. Verb, noun. 보호하다, 방패. Investing in gold can serve to shield personal wealth from inflation. Reluctance. Noun. 내키지 않음, 주저함. The manager noticed her reluctance to join the voluntary cleanup task. Unanimous. Adjective. 만장일치해. The board of directors reached a unanimous decision to increase R&D funding. Negotiator. Noun. 협상 대표. A professional negotiator stays neutral during highly emotional talks. Checkpoint. Noun. 점검 지점. Regular safety checkpoint testing is a requirement for manufacturing lines. Cliff. Noun. 벼랑. 위기 상태. The small island nation is facing an economic cliff due to mounting debts. Active. Adjective. 활동적인. 유효한. Although his contract expired, his security credential is still active. 시사용어 해설. Tariff. 환세. 자국 산업을 해외 경쟁 저가 물품으로부터 보호하거나 국가 세수를 올리기 위해 국경을 지나 자국 영토로 유입되는 수입 상품에 국가 정부가 법적으로 부과하는 국경 유통세입니다.
9-2. Olympic medalists and community leaders lead the Calgary Stampede Parade procession. The world-renowned Calgary Stampede has officially kicked off with its spectacular downtown parade procession. Led by Olympic medalists Mikhail Kingsbury and Courtney Serault as parade marshals, the festive parade drew thousands of cheering spectators. Prominent political figures, including conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, also participated in the equestrian procession. Cultural organizations representing Calgary's diverse Korean, Mexican, and Chilean communities marched together to showcase local cultural diversity. Joel Cowley, CEO of the Stampede, emphasized that the 10-day event acts as a vital economic booster for the city's hospitality and tourism sectors during periods of global economic cooling. Vocabulary. Marshal. Noun, verb. 진행 요원. 정렬하다. The police chief helped to marshal volunteers to direct traffic near the park. Spectator. Noun. 관중. 구경꾼. The newly constructed stadium can accommodate over 50,000 sports spectators. Figure. Noun, verb. 건물, 인물, 숫자, 생각하다. She quickly became a central figure in the fight against carbon emissions. Equestrian. Adjective, noun. 승마에, 마술에. The rich family spent thousands of dollars on professional equestrian training. Diversity. Noun. 다양성. Encouraging cultural diversity in the office fosters creative problem solving. Booster. Noun. 촉진제. 상승 요인. Tax deductions for research development acted as a vital growth booster. Hospitality. Noun. service업. 환대. The tourism decline hit the regional hotel and hospitality industry hard. Cooling. Noun, adjective. 시금, 냉각, 하락세. High interest rates are expected to result in a rapid cooling of the housing market.
시사용어 해설. economic booster, 경제 활성화 촉매제. 침체에 빠지거나 위축된 특정 지방이나 산업 부문에 관광객 소모 지출 유도, 인프라 투자 건설 예산 투입 등을 통해 즉각적인 유통현금 거래량을 강제 주입해 전체 내수 지표를 부양하는 정기 대형 행사나 정책을 통칭합니다.
9.3. Global home sewing machine sales rebound as younger generations embrace custom fashion. Globally, home sewing machine sales are experiencing an unexpected rise, with the market projected to double by 2035 to reach $2 billion. This sudden economic rebound is driven largely by consumers under the age of 45 who choose to design, mend, or customize their own clothes. Driven by social media trends on platforms like TikTok, millions of sewing tutorials have inspired younger generations to reject mass-produced fast fashion. Consumers are actively buying portable sewing machines to create colorful, personalized outfits rather than buying commercial designs. Retail consultants suggest that this lifestyle shift reflects a growing environmental awareness and a preference for sustainable, self-sufficient lifestyle choices. Vocabulary. Project. Verb. Noun. 예측하다, 투사하다, project. Economists project that the transition to green vehicles will take 10 more years. Rebound. Noun. Verb. 반등, 회복하다. Local real estate prices started to rebound after the mortgage rate cuts. Mend. Verb. 키우다, 수선하다. The tailoring shop was hired to mend several vintage silk suits. Customize. Verb. 주문 제작하다, 개조하다. Users can easily customize the dashboard layout of the banking application. Tutorial. Noun. 개별 교육 동영상, 자습서. The online coding tutorial helped thousands of beginners build their first app. Reject. Verb. 거절하다, 폐기하다. The verification office decided to reject the registration due to lack of documents. Portable. Adjective. 휴대용의, 가벼운. The medical center sent several portable ultrasound units to the disaster zone. Sustainable. Adjective. 지속 가능한. Developing sustainable fishing limits is crucial to save regional marine ecosystems. Fast fashion. Fast fashion. 최신 패션 트렌드를 즉각 포착하여 저렴한 의류 소재를 무기 삼아 수주일 만에 대량으로 빠르게 기성 의류를 기획, 생산, 유통하는 의류 비즈니스 모델입니다. 값싼 맛의 사입기 좋으나 다량의 탄소 배출과 의류 폐기 10. DD India. 10-1. Prime Minister Modi and Japanese PM Sanai Takaichi unveil comprehensive strategic roadmap at 16th summit. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi have unveiled an ambitious, comprehensive roadmap at the 16th India-Japan Annual Summit. The historic meeting, held in New Delhi, yielded 16 strategic outcomes designed to expand bilateral cooperation in economic security, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. In a bid to enhance energy resilience against global volatility, the two leaders finalized an agreement to secure maritime transport and expand strategic petroleum reserves. Additionally, major green hydrogen export deals were finalized under India's National Green Hydrogen Mission with Japanese firms. This bilateral partnership underscores both nations' commitment to shaping a secure, human-centric technological ecosystem in the Indo-Pacific region. Vocabulary. Resilience. Noun. 회복력, 내구력, 탄성. The financial sector demonstrated remarkable resilience during the sudden credit crunch. Volatility. Noun. 변동성, 휘발성. High currency volatility can discourage foreign direct investment in emerging markets. Outcome. Noun. 결과, 결실. The negative outcome of the peace negotiations led to further military tensions. Petroleum. Noun. 석유, 원유. The government is attempting to reduce its total reliance on imported petroleum. Critical. Adjective. 중대한, 위독한, 비판적인. Securing a stable supply of rare earths is critical for electric battery production. Reserve. Noun. Verb. 비충량, 예약하다. The central bank increased its gold reserves to prepare for the currency storm.
Bilateral. Adjective. 양방향의, 양국의. The Bilateral Border Commission resolved several long-running land claims. Strategic. Adjective. 전략적인. The port is of extreme strategic value because of its proximity to trading shipping channels. 시사용어 해설. Economic security. 경제안보. 단순히 군사력이나 영토 방위에 국한하지 않고 한 국가의 존립에 필수적인 반도체 핵심 장비, 2차 전지 광물, 원유와 원자력 핵심 원료 등의 해외 유통망을 굳건히 확보하여 타국의 외교적 압박이나 물리적 보복 조치에 휘둘리지 않고 국가 경제를 무너지지 않게 보전하는 안보 전략입니다.
Number 10. 2. Prime Minister Modi schedules key visits to Rajasthan and Gujarat to launch vital projects. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to visit the crucial western states of Rajasthan and Gujarat to launch several high-profile development projects. The massive development program, valued at over 1.06 lakh crore rupees, covers critical infrastructure sectors, including urban transport, railways, and highways. A key highlight of the visit is the official launch of Jaipur Metro Phase 2 and the dedication of a premier greenfield integrated refinery-cum petrochemical complex. Modi will also lay the foundation stones for massive renewable energy grids and state-of-the-art semiconductor fabrication facilities. National economists indicate that these public investments aim to position Western India as a dominant high-tech manufacturing corridor. Vocabulary. Schedule. Verb or noun. 일정을 잡다. Schedule. The management decided to schedule a direct briefing session with union leaders. Vital. Adjective. 중대한. 생명에 필수적인. Regular exercise and drinking plenty of water are vital for long-term health. Refinery. Noun. 정제소. 재련소. The oil refinery underwent an intensive environmental safety check. Complex. Noun or adjective. 단지. 복잡한. The software company moved its main office to the new cyber complex. Renewable. Adjective. 재생 가능한. Investing in solar power is a smart way to develop a clean, renewable resource. Semiconductor. Noun. 반도체. The shortage of automotive semiconductor chips delayed vehicle production. Corridor. Noun. 주랑. 벨트. 통로. The government is planning a high-speed train corridor to link the two capitals. Launch. Verb or noun. 착수하다, 출시, 발사. The retail giant will launch its online distribution app next month. 시사용어 해설. Semiconductor fabrication facility, 반도체 제조 특구, PEP. 모래에서 추출한 규소판, 웨이퍼 위에 정밀 광학 렌즈 레이저로 미세한 미세 전자 회로를 한 층 한 층 새겨 넣어 컴퓨터 기억 장치나 정보 연산칩을 생산해내는 반도체 전문 생산 공장, PEP을 일컫는 말입니다. 10.3. Assam's Borjuli wetland notified as Biodiversity Heritage Site to conserve wild rice genetics. The government of Assam has officially notified the Borjuli wetland as a designated Biodiversity Heritage Site, BHS. The wetland is globally recognized for harboring a highly unique variety of wild rice that possesses natural pest and disease-resistant genetics. Environmental scientists consider this notification a major milestone in securing wild rice genetic resources against climate displacement. Under the new environmental laws, commercial development, waste dumping, and unauthorized land reclamation around the wetland are strictly prohibited. Biodiversity advocates hope this legal shield will serve to preserve the fragile wetland ecosystem while helping agricultural scholars develop more resilient crop varieties for future generations. Vocabulary. Notify. Verb. 공식 공표하다, 통보하다. The building administration will notify tenants before conducting pesticide sprays. Biodiversity. Noun. 생물 다양성. Tropical forests possess the richest biodiversity of any biome on Earth. Harbor. Verb. Noun. 동식물의 보금자리가 되다, 항구. The national park is known to harbor several critically endangered tiger species. Genetics. Noun. 유전학, 유전적 특징. Plant breeders study genetics to cultivate varieties that do not require pesticide. Pest. Noun. 해충, 유해동물. Farmers are using natural predators to eliminate crop pests without chemicals. Reclamation. Noun. 개간, 간척.
Seafront land reclamation was approved to build a modern cruise terminal. Fragile. Adjective. 깨지기 쉬운, 취약한. The fragile glass artifacts were wrapped in thick bubble sheets for shipping. Cultivar. Noun. 품종, 재배종. The Agricultural Research Center developed a new heat-resistant wheat cultivar. 시사용어 해설. Biodiversity Heritage Site. 생물 다양성 보존 유산지구. 고유종의 밀도가 높거나 멸종위기 야생생물이 모여 살고 혹은 유전적 변이가 다양해 장기적인 유전자원 보존, 학술 가치가 매우 높아 정부 차원에서 일체의 개발을 차단하고 격리하여 특별법으로 정밀 관리하는 구역입니다.